Just like to call to order the special meeting of council. Is there any declaration of pecuniary interest or general nature thereof? Being none. So we'll just jump right into our budget workshop. And Sherry, if you could take us through our budget.
Thank you, Your Worship. Our first 3 pages of Council's proposed 2022 budget shows the revenues and where they come from. Page 1 is taxation and payment in lieu of taxes revenues. They are pretty similar to what we received last year and budgeted accordingly. The second page shows where we get grant money from, which is pretty consistent. The change for the gas taxes last year, we received a double payment. This year it is back to a single payment. Public Works, we have budgeted for a grant. And so fire protection is where we receive our money from MTO, from MNR, from other firefighting services that we provide. A small amount for insurance reports that the fire chief does, and there's the kennel revenue is in there. And
sorry, Anne, do you have a question?
Do you want to save questions till the end or just as you're going?
I'll be at the end of each page.
Okay.
Does that be all right?
That's fine. Yep.
so if we go down further, environment is where we collect fees for recycling boxes, landfill fees, bag tags, administration for the water and sewer, and our Blue Box program. And at the very end, the grant that we have for $44,800 is for asset management that we applied through the FCM for and were approved. So are there questions on that page?
Anne, you have a question?
So line number 77, why is there such an increase in fire other municipalities?
We had a significant fire costs. We responded to a fire in Swisha.
So that's already happened. Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions on page 2? Okay, on to the next page.
So page 3 is taxes, penalty and interest, tax certificates, compliance certificates, interest that we earn at the bank on our investments, small fees for marriage licenses or marriage services. We have some planning fees in there for building permits, etc. And then if we move down to miscellaneous, that's different rents that we collect for the towers. Memorial bench is in there, and it's a increase from last year, but not up significantly. And then transfer from reserves, what we're doing this year, we are transferring some money from the reserves to offset our costs, and you'll see your surplus from last year is there. And so that is where our revenues come from.
Questions on page 3? Bruce?
Line 100, the first one. Is that because we're collecting more taxes or like it's really up?
So that is for people that are late on their taxes. They
Is
are
that many, eh?
charged.
Is that
Yes.
many? Like it's went up big numbers. Okay.
It's actually down from last year.
I know, but from a couple of years before that, it's
Yeah. Yes, before that, it was just separated out in 2 lines.
gotcha. Thank
It's
you.
amalgamated now.
Oh, I see now. Okay.
Anything else on page 3? Okay, on to page 4, please, Sherry.
Sorry, Jen.
Sorry, we do have a question on page 3.
Yeah, so line 101,
This is one I just asked.
yeah, but
It's put
So our new
together, eh?
system combines that number for us. It doesn't split it out like our
100
old
and
system
101 are
did.
together.
55.
So if you go
Okay,
back to
yeah.
2020, it was split out in 2 line items.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay,
Same question.
page 4.
So page 4 is the start of our expenditures, and it starts out with council for council honorarium, payroll costs, conferences, membership fees, communications, and the integrity commissioner. You will note that there is some money in there for conferences and memberships. This is an election year, and I think later on in the year, the Eastern Ontario Economic Development Conferences and those will become available for in-person attendance. So I factored in that in this budget.
Good.
General government is salaries, OMERS, costs that are fixed for us year after year. The only thing that is different in it this year is we have a line item for elections this year. We have our taxation write-offs and then general government, the projects that we expect to be finished this year. Our asset management plan, our drainage review, it is 3/4 of the way finished and will be presented to council. We are working on our wastewater treatment plant project and our airport fuel tanks. That is a carryover project from last year that was factored into our budget last year.
Anything on page 4? Brenda.
So,
Brenda.
have you, I know I've kind of mentioned this before, but have you taken into consideration? I know like staff has been up to their eyeballs with work in the office. Have you taken into consideration about hiring somebody else for the office or, you know, a student in the summertime to help with stuff?
So physically right now, we do not have the room to add a student. We took a co-op student and it was very difficult because their desk was pushed right up against Cindy's desk. So physically, we don't have the room for a student to come in and work with us. It is something that probably in the fall or early spring will be brought back to council for consideration. Succession planning is something that we
Yes.
really need to look at.
That was my next question about
Yeah.
succession planning. It's something I think should be, you know, brought forward and start looking at. My next one was, so line item, if I can see this, is 185. So their strategic plan, is this something that, I know we have $1,000 there, but is this something we should bring
So that's the
forward again?
website.
Oh, that's the website.
That's the
Oh,
website.
that's for the website, okay, but the strategic plan is.
It
slash
should come
website.
forward, but probably with your new council.
Okay, okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Because it should be reviewed again. so-
Unless council wants to review it so that they have it.
Well, you know what? I wouldn't mind reviewing it and at least update it to what's been done and what we've achieved so
Oh, I
far,
can
so
give
that
you
it's
that.
ready for a new
Yeah.
council. I think that
That's
could be
a good idea.
important. Now, I
Okay.
know that probably won't cost us money, but.
No, because I will update that to
that's
the
right. So
projects
I
that are
think that's
finished.
important to get that at least updated.
Okay.
It's got to be at least 4
Good
or
point.
5 years since we made it.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we've done a lot on that plan.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
okay.
Okay, that's it for page 4. Anybody else have questions? No? Okay, on to page 5, please.
So page 5 are set costs for us for our policing. We are working on a community wellness plan with our neighboring communities. Hopefully that will be completed this year. We have under planning and building, we have a contract for CBO services with our neighbor. There are some small line items. So this year I factored in some money for planning services and planning act services, as well as the e-permitting that we have ongoing right now. With our former CBO, he was heavily involved in the planning side. We don't have that service right now. So the County of Renfrew and I included a draft of an agreement with them, is more than willing to help us with planning services where we need it. And so I would like to enter into an agreement if council approves that, to work with the county on items that we can't as staff do.
Questions?
That's enough.
I believe so. And I should have gone back to general government. We also have HR services in there with the
Yeah.
County of Renfrew. They are going to review our HR policies and bring them up to date if they need to be brought up to date. And we're also going to review what policies the county has that we may be missing. So there is a fee in there for that as well. I think it's very affordable for us. And I probably budgeted a little higher than the hours we'll need, but it's just a guess at this point.
Brenda.
So obviously, we don't have that planning available in the municipality anymore after our previous CBO has left. And I'm okay because if we want to, you know, contract in the county for that, but I would like to stress that we still need to maintain looking for somebody that would replace our previous CBO capacity of what he did, as opposed to leaving this with the county indefinitely.
Mhm.
Are we still going to be looking for a CBO full-time basis?
Is council wishing to possibly for the beginning of next year, relook, recruit again for a CBO?
Well, I would like to be honest, and keep a lot of this in-house at the municipality as much as we can. That's my personal feeling.
So right now, the county is starting to, on the planning side of things, they're starting to build their team. Actually, they're hiring another person. And and the nice thing about it is that they're the subject matter experts. And one of the things they're looking at too is quicker turnaround time. As part of their the review that was done there. So I'd like to see how that fares out first, because if we can, and the county is very willing to help. They reached out to all the municipalities if they wanted some additional service in those areas, and I personally think it would be good because they got all the subject matter experts there. I know when our predecessor ran into issues, he went to the go-to people. So anyways, that's my thoughts on it.
I
Yes.
would, sorry.
So that's fair enough. I do, but I'm a little concerned, and I'm just going to voice my opinion. And it's no way anything against the county. I
No.
have great respect for the county. But we are a small municipality, and my experience through the years with anything like that is we're low man in the hierarchy as a small municipality. If you take a look at the bigger places, they're kind of at the top of the totem pole. And if we have it in-house, and I'm always kind of looking at keeping things in-house, like our fire department or whatever,
Mhm.
within our own municipality. So I'm not opposed to, looking and seeing how this will take off, but I also want to keep on the back burner that my personal preference is to have our own person. And if they do have to confer with the county, well, that's always available. But that's just my thoughts.
Yep. Well, we'll certainly we should try it out this way, see how things work out. And if we're happy with it, we'll continue. If not, then maybe we can go back and look at that.
Absolutely. So
I
contract.
totally understand where you're coming from, Brenda. But, having said that, I think of the 17 municipalities, I think we're fourth on the list now for zoning bylaw upgrade. So updates. So we'll see
Yes.
see how things go.
If I could just add, council will recall that we reached back out to our former CBO, and he does help us with our consent applications
Mhm.
and with the comments on that, which is really where we're lacking. So we've been very fortunate that he is working with us on that. And it has been our experience to date that the county has responded very well. Bigger municipalities like Petawawa, Laurentian Valley, they have a planner on staff, so they don't need the county services.
Yeah.
So,
This would be a contract.
yes,
Okay. I just want to put my concerns
Yeah.
out there for
Absolutely.
future consideration, and
Yeah,
this is a
absolutely.
contract only, so it'll be like on a trial and see how it goes.
Yes, and I believe also there was one municipality that decided not to go with the county on this, and I think now they've changed their mind and they're decided that they don't have the resources to do it. So
I know we
Anyway.
have worked with their new planner already on a C of A application that we just went through, and that was very, very smooth, and it happened very quickly. Well, we're mandated for our timeframes anyway. It worked out very, very well.
so we'll keep our finger on the pulse.
And if there are issues become of that, I'll bring it back to council. So the next page is our fire department, and I will turn that over to our fire chief.
Thanks.
Page 6, Kevin, it's all yours.
Okay, there's 11 items there that stand out. Item 1, 3, and 4. They
Oh.
kind of all go together. Do you have that list?
Okay,
Okay. What it is, it's vehicle stabilization, struts, Milwaukee battery chainsaw, and a Milwaukee Sawzall. they're all tied together. We had that one bad accident with the tractor trailer and the car down towards Chalk River. And there was quite a debris field. When you have an accident with tractor trailers, it happens, we had a substantial fire. And we had to get that equipment to the far end. It was all on the equipment van at this end. So what I'm suggesting is we put those items on the Chalk River truck as well, so that because we come from both sides, so that we always have those tools on the scene when we go there. It doesn't work out to a lot of money. The stabilization struts are to keep the car, if it's on its side or upside down, to keep it from moving, so it's safe for the firefighters to get into. The battery chainsaw, we had to cut some trees. Well, we ended cutting them with the jaws of life, which they're not meant for that. You can't use a real chainsaw beside a person that's next to death, with the fumes and everything else.
Yeah.
And then the sawzall, well, it can be used to cut material too, and you can't get in with the jaws. So that's what those three items are.
How much are we looking at here?
You're looking at $29.50 for the struts, $700 for the chainsaw, and $450 for the sawzall. Item number 2, it's a fair amount, $5,449.40. That's to change the lights in the Point Alexander Fire Hall all to LED. The lights that are in there, they're having trouble getting ballast for them now. Number 5 is the training area we have down in Chalk River. All inside the fence. It's if you go there today, you'll see it's very muddy in that, except where the pad is. So what I've suggested is I've got a price to put fabric down and put crushed stone on it. That way we can use it in the spring of the year anytime, and it keeps our equipment clean as well. Tree removal, that's for the tower, going up to the tower. Over the last 2 years, we had the south side done. Well, the north side, we could never get the owner that owned that property to agree to cut some of the trees, and there are some big trees that could take our hydro line out. Well, these new people just bought it, and they're more than happy to do it if we cut the trees down and leave the trees there for them. So we're just in the process of, or CAOs in the process of making sure through our lawyer that we can do this. And it's not a very big amount.
And it should be done.
Bunker gear, we have 10,000 there, but I think it should be 17,000, because the reason is last year's bunker gear hasn't showed up yet because of COVID. Nothing is happening. So there's this year's and last year's on there. So it should, instead of 10,000, it should be.
Budget reflects 17.
Okay, good enough. Radios, we have to order a few radios. In fact, I've already ordered them. It's $2,000. Partitions and belay system for the training sea cans down there. The belay system is a system so that when guys are going up ladders or going through windows on the second story, we have them tied off so they can't fall. It's a health and safety thing. And the partitions are for search and rescue. We have like barn doors that we can move, change the inside of the sea can, so for people doing search and rescue. Security cameras was we budgeted $499. I actually got them already. They're $329. That was we had problems down there at the training area with some kids got in and took a bunch of stuff into the bush. Well, we have them now. We have security cameras there, and then a training reserve. We have that $10,000. I mentioned earlier at committee that it cost us $3,000 for one firefighter. With this new, since the college shut down, used to cost us $65. Nothing for meals, nothing for lodging. Now we got to pay his meals, his mileage, his lodging, and everything to go wherever the RTC is. So that's what this would be for. And then whatever we don't, and this year I think we'd only use 3,000 of it, but that would go back into reserve for next year, because every year we're going to get a lot of surprise costs with this new curriculum, I think, for training. So that's the bulk of it.
You might as well be prepared and have the budget in place if there are surprise things.
So that is line 259 in the budget. So the biggest cost item over last year in the chief's department is the rescue truck. We should receive it this year and make the final payment of that.
Yes,
We have-
the new truck we ordered should have been here in January. I just got notified yesterday by the company that it just went onto the floor yesterday in at Battle Shield. And then they realized it was different color, so it's going out to be painted. That's no extra cost. That was all in the cost. It's as soon as the truck that's in the paint shop comes out, it's going in, and then they'll start building ours. I'm suspecting it'll be early winter, early next year when it comes. Things are really, really slow. There's nothing you can do about it. That's 2 years.
Well, maybe we can change our town colors. Okay,
Are there any questions on the fire department budget?
no, I think you've pretty well nailed it. Everything I see here is something that I believe that fire department actually needs, requires. And I have no issues whatsoever.
I'll just add, the fire department did get a grant last year for $7,500.
Yes.
We're in the process of using that for training as well. We have the Public Works is building us a forcible entry door. And I got a local contractor building us a car so we can use for car fires.
Oh.
It sounds funny to build a car for car fires, but we'll put propane in so we can control it. And the forcible entry door, well, it's a good asset.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry? Yeah.
Good work.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Not bad for an old guy.
So next is our public works budget. And the first line items for salary, for overtime, for our summer students, for our 6-month contract person, conferences, office supplies, utilities, communications, OMERS. Those are set costs that vary very minimally year to year. Once we get past the insurance, I will turn this over to the Public Works Superintendent to explain his budget.
Yeah, so most stuff, there's nothing really big surprise on this year. We still have to catch up with a lot of work from last year. We have to do all the park work. The roads we didn't get done last year. So no big surprises. So start at, they have this one.
Yes, we have that.
Okay. So signs, the solar / battery operated mobile portable trailer, that's still coming. So that price did change a little bit. Catch basins for the post office area, that raised up again. Culvert flushing, catch basin, that's the normal. Calcium, the normal. Salt and sands up this year just because we ran out twice. We had to purchase it twice again this year. It was a bad year. Office supplies, radio, shop supplies, there's nothing really in there, just the norm other than a new metal detector. Training, all we need this year is first aid. It runs out this fall. So does our propane tickets. And then rental costs. That's for excavators to do culverts, renting of trucks to haul snow this year. The big cost in there is we purchased that new brusher head that showed up last December. I'd like to see our loader work all summer with that this year. The problem with that, we need a second piece of equipment, something at the pit. If we go do culverts or we do anything, we still need something to load trucks. You need 2 pieces of equipment all the time. So that's a big cost because you're looking at roughly $4,000 a month to rent something. Unfortunately, sometimes it sits, but you need it sitting there in case something happens. Just like today, we have 2 pieces of equipment working to fix a road. So that's why that costing is up. Now, we may not need it for the full 3 months, but that's just the number in there, depending how quick the brushing goes. Under buildings for Point Alexander Garage, we still have some leaks and stuff we need to fix over there. The Chalk River Garage, with all the park stuff we have, we purchased a lot of the stuff freestanding this year. So I'd like to build most of it in our yard. It's going to take us a long time to build all that stuff. And there's no gate on that down there. It's been broke for a long time. I'd like to purchase a gate that's an electronic gate that slides up along the existing fence, one that doesn't swing. So in the wintertime, you can go in and it'll just slide along the existing fence. I'm struggling to get, there's only one company around here that does it, and I'm struggling to get them to come up. They've been telling me for 2 weeks they're coming, so it's a waiting game at this point. I don't have a secure price for that. And then there's a bit of fencing at the fen that I'm waiting on a price for that as well. The sewer plant. So at the sewer plant, the garage that's there, we did some repairs to the roof a couple years ago. The building still floods all the time. It's got some crazy heat loss. We looked into reinsulating it. The lighting is no good. It's so this costing is just to take that building down. We would take it down and sort of prep the site, and then that would be a new pad with a new building. So that's what that costing is for. Equipment purchases, the truck's already been ordered in that sense. Then we just have some other stuff, some maintenance stuff, some chainsaws and pole saws just to get some new stuff for sure. Paving roads, basically everything's the same as it was last year that we didn't get done. The add-on there is Chemainus Street. There's a section of that road that didn't get done a long time ago when you did Chemainus and Martin Street, so that section needs to be repaired. The other stuff is just the same roads around the post office that we have to get done, Peter Street and Albert Street. And then there's some bad sections on the Wiley Road that need to be touched up in other surface treated roads, so that's sort of like a bulk price for surface treatment. It's bad, yeah. Gravel roads, we'll be doing some graveling again this year. Street sweeping, I've talked to them. They were up in the area actually on a long weekend doing some parking lots.
Yeah.
And we're almost at the top of the list, so he should be up here anytime, and we'll start getting our sweeping done. Stone crushing, we have $50,000 in there. That's to just get more gravel crushed. Our pit has already been stripped and cut, so it's just at this point, it's just digging it out of the bank. And stone blasting, we didn't get to that last year, just the year we had. So that's just various stones around and ditches and shoulders. And then just topsoil for ditching jobs and some hydro seeding. To recreation.
So all the items that the Public Works Superintendent has identified have been put into that budget on different line items that have been identified, because it might be a small piece of equipment, but it's been added into equipment that we know the number is larger every year.
Yep.
Can you hear me? The sand and salt, so this year's stuff is already in the budget, like the stuff you ordered. I just said it's doubled, right?
I haven't received any invoices from the stuff
Okay.
that we purchased. Or
'Cause
we
last
only got
year-
one.
So that'd be on this year's budget though.
It'd be paid for this year.
Yeah.
So that's why that number's,
Okay,
It's
that's why
high,
the
'cause,
numbers
yeah.
are, yeah.
yeah.
I'm just saying because it doubled. Okay,
Yeah.
makes sense.
Man,
So the new garage for the Chalk River Sewer Plant, should that not be covered by the water and sewer budget?
I thought that too, but no.
That's a decision of council. I feel it's a facility that we own and
But we don't,
should be, the town owns that
yeah, I know the
facility.
owner,
Yeah.
but we don't.
The
use it for
garage.
water.
But
It's there solely
Yeah,
for
Water and sewer.
the Chalk River water and sewer system.
I guess that's a council decision and
sorry, what line item is that?
I don't know where it is in the full page here, but I'm,
so that was, let me go back. So that is in our general budget. What line item? I didn't put a line item.
How much is it?
$36,000. So I guess that'll have to be a council decision as to whether that's going to come out of the water and sewer, or if it's going to be out of our facilities.
So is the building itself, water and sewage,
It houses
itself?
chemicals and
under the water and sewage budget?
No.
No. So why would this be? Why would the garage be?
Wait, ask that question again. What's it being used for?
So she's asking if the actual physical buildings at the water tower, the water treatment building,
Okay.
so equipment replacement is part of the water and sewer budget. The building has not been when, so you want all of the buildings, so water and sewer?
Although I say they should have been just. Because they only do water and sewer, they cannot supply water and sewer for me.
But if the roof shingles blow off, that's not, I guess it's not my decision to make. If we're replacing a roof, is that going to be expense to the water and sewer users?
I'm not in agreement, obviously.
No.
You know, I think it's a big expense as it is, and it's always going up for them,
The
so.
biggest question I get from taxpayers is we pay for water and sewer. We're paying for the building for water and sewer. We're paying for it.
Well, we pay for our facilities, town-owned facilities, whether it's a garage, whether it's a fen, whether it's a library.
Yes, but everybody can use that. Everybody can't use it.
And that's a decision of council to make.
Question I get from people all the time. We pay for it. No, I say we don't. Actually, we do. Support it. We can.
Well, if we want to put it to a vote, I'll be voting no for that, so.
I do, yes.
So I would be voting that anything to do with the use of the Chalk River water system should be charged to the Chalk River water system users, not the rest of the residents.
So if we are adding this to the water and sewer budget, we will be increasing the costs for water and sewer this year.
And we
What
talked
about
about not
reserves?
increasing it this year,
And we lower our taxes.
but we. had
No,
also
it would
talked
just not
about-
be a line item.
Yeah, but we'd also talked about not adding that burden this year by increasing the water and sewage this year.
But if this has been identified as being needed to be done, it needs to be done.
Do we have anything in reserves to support that?
So we had decided the water and sewer reserves were going to be for the $3 million project.
Yes. So the money's not there, and
So money's on the bars, either.
we are a municipality and we often collect taxes for the good of everybody. So if we vote, I'm going to have to say no. Yeah. No, well, I'm going to have to say no.
So the alternative is to take it out of the budget and not do that project this year and bring it back next year.
For the,
The Chalk River Garage.
oh,
How
Does it
bad
have another
is the
year of
garage?
life in it?
We did the roof, I believe it was last year, the year before. I'm sure it can withstand another year. It's just something that we really need to look at, but if discussions need to happen, then
Okay, let's park it.
I think this is something that needs to be parked. You're right. Yeah, we need to look at this.
Let's park it.
Yeah, thank you.
yeah.
So I guess my question is, we have a facilities reserve, which everybody is paying for, and we've never separated out that something gets replaced here. Let's say, for example, this building, we've never said, well, Chalk River doesn't have to pay for it because it's located in Point Alexander. We've never done anything like that. So we'll park it and bring it back for a further discussion.
Because because it's totally dedicated to water and sewer.
Is it used for any other purpose? Okay,
So park it.
okay. So we'll make
Okay
that
with that?
adjustment to the budget.
You look mad.
I'm not going to, I'm not mad. I'm never mad at anybody over anything, but take-
Yeah. Okay, let's keep going.
so we're in recreation.
Yeah.
Okay, so buildings.
That was a fun one, wasn't it, Scott?
So last year, we tried with putting that storage shed at the ball field. We purchased that plastic shed that didn't last. Obviously, it got vandalized on the side of it and then a baseball went through the roof of it once. So that obviously isn't an option at this point. So this is just a costing to have another garage built, like a wooden type garage, not heated. Well, I have options actually for heated or not, and it was with one man door, one garage door, just to house the excess of equipment, that being ball equipment, recreation equipment, lawnmowers, the hockey nets, hoses, whatever else. And we'd have to find a location down there, obviously, that was close to everything beside the other building, whichever, to put something.
What about Seacan?
Not really, I don't know.
We have a couple secans that we use for storage, and if they don't leak, they're very good, but we have one that was full of mold, and we ended up giving that one to Kevin that we cut apart, and they use it for fire training. So
Okay.
depending what it is, I don't know that you'd want to store hockey, like baseball equipment and stuff like that in them.
No, okay, just wondering. Yo, Bruce.
There's a new thing on them. They have to be anchored and stuff now too, don't they?
Yeah, the regulations change.
So
now.
by the
They have to
time
be
you
on
pay
tubes
for
and
all
whatever
this,
else.
there's new regulations on those things. You can't just put them in your yard no more.
All right.
Sorry. Apparently, they're not super cheap anymore either.
No.
You know, to buy. They've gone up by thousands of dollars. So,
Okay,
so thank you for putting that in there, because I think I'd mentioned it to you that it was very congested in the rink building with ball equipment and
oh, it's brutal.
the rink equipment and everything. It was really hard
Okay.
to manage. So thanks. Mhm.
Yeah. And then at the Mountain View rink, that's just some money for some repairs and touch-ups and repainting the building and doing some soffit and fascia repairs there. Point Alexander is much the same. We built a rack over there for the paddle boards and the outside equipment. And again, just touch-ups and stuff to the boards. The big money is where we get into Chalk River. We didn't do, we have to build a rack for the hoses. But the big thing in here is I'm sure most of you can see, the wood nowadays isn't what it is. I mean, that rink's not old and the boards are rotten on it already. Last year, we scrambled to buy those 3 pieces of plywood and we had to go to Pembroke to buy them. It's the only place to get them. But so this is for a complete Riley rink setup. Same as Shady Nook has. They come up, they install it. It's once and done. That's including fencing all the way around the perimeter, 6-foot fencing on the front and backs, 4 foot on the sides. It includes 2 doors to go into the players' benches, a big door that we can get in access with equipment, and then another man door that we could access where the man door is now. The only thing I would change in that design, later talking, I would put another door in directly in front of the garage door, so your hoses to flood would go straight out, so you wouldn't have to come out and go along the building.
Good idea.
Whether that be a door or just a pocket or something, I would have some sort of accessible point there. That cost, I got a cost for that a couple years ago, so obviously like everything else, it's increased. I think being the first thing you see when you pull into Chalk River on Main Street, and it's used.
Yes,
It's
it
used.
is.
I don't know, other than that, we're gonna be fighting. We've painted those boards, the paint doesn't stick to them. And there's a lot more rotten boards this year again, so.
Yeah, they haven't been up very long, have they?
Proposing point A next year.
Yes, and I would like to see, Point Alexander is smaller than that rink, but I would propose, if everything goes good with that rink, I would propose to do this with this rink, because we're gonna have to do a complete on this rink
Yes.
within the next 2 years, I would say.
Yeah.
So
It's a
this
good
is just an
plan.
ongoing.
So are you gonna be using a different type of material, Scott, or is it
It's
like a composite or?
it's all, I forget what the name, it's like a Lexan,
Okay,
it's sheeting.
okay,
If you're down by Pembroke, go just drive into Shady Nook. It's the same
Oh,
setup
okay.
that's sort of in there.
So
And
is
it's
there,
all stainless steel, galvanized, aluminum. It's all like you wouldn't touch it.
is,
there a warranty on this?
I believe there is. I haven't, I don't know if I.
The reason I ask is that plywood we used didn't last very long. You know, is that 3 years?
Yeah, so none of this stuff is,
And this is big price, so we want some kind of warranty.
yeah,
no, there isn't. There's no one really around that does it. It's kind of a one-shot deal. They have tons of.
and the contractor's local, Scott?
No,
No.
they're out of
Woodstock.
Woodstock.
So do you think that price is gonna be like 10%, 20% more or? No clue, eh? Be hard for you to answer that question until you find out.
Like as for,
The 132.
no, this is an updated price right now. I'm saying I priced this a couple years ago and it was about 25,000 less.
Yeah.
So that's the price increase. Now that, because a lot of it is a plastic material, that's probably everything's gone crazy.
Okay, well, it's a well-used place, so
Can I ask just one quick question? Oh, sorry, Ann, you were first. Go ahead.
then Brenda.
Okay, so with the cost of everything going up so much, and I think I heard you say that we're looking at redoing this one here within the next 2 or 3 years. Should we be looking at possibly getting both of them? If we're looking at, say, a 25% increase in 2 or 3 years.
I did ask the question, there's no discount to do 2 for 1. But to do them both, I mean, that's.
I know you can't look into the future, Scott, and see if the prices are going to go up in 2 or 3 years, but judging by everything and building costs going up for everything, I think that's something that we might want to look at. What's that? Are you, okay,
Yeah,
doesn't mean they're going to come down though.
the pricing now on a lot of things have started to come down in the building side of things.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Well,
I think we'll do the one, then the other. Brenda?
So just a quick question on some of the stuff you're doing. So I think I'd mentioned in an email a while back that at the end of the rink, right by the road, the main road, the person that lives on the other side of the street had told me several times that pucks were going over that into his yard. And his concern was that what if they went over that and they hit a car or something? Are you going to increase the height of that?
The ends
That's
were
in
to be
there?
6
Yeah,
feet and the
okay.
sides were
Okay, you didn't
4.
mind maybe mention that, and I was a little distracted.
Now, that being said, if pucks are going over a 6-foot fence, they're trying to get them to go over, they'll get them to go over an 8-foot, a 10-foot fence. They're trying to do that, obviously.
Yeah.
It's-
Okay, thanks.
I know some places that are netting on top of that, but
We ended up having to do that.
Can't fix stupid.
Increase that.
yeah, okay. No, that makes, that's good.
And then there was just some other maintenance to the Chalk River building in regards to like the garage doors and a few touch-ups and stuff there. So there was some money put aside to just sort of fix that building up with the lights in the front being hit, the soffit and the fascia and whatever else is just, it needs a few things from getting hit by pucks and whatever. And there's various stuff in there, the porta potties, concrete pads for basketball nets, do the annual work at the ball field. We didn't actually get that done last year. So this year we definitely need to get that done, get the warning track cleaned up and get some more stone and fertilize the seed, fertilize the grass. Memorial bench. And crossing, we had to adjust some numbers because the wood fiber, everything increased. It increased quite a bit actually this year. To get all that play structure installed that we purchased from last year. Concrete's gone way up again. So everything kind of went up. So that's just to sort of get that stuff installed. And then Goodsman Park. We didn't get all the stuff done there last year. We got the trees removed. We didn't get the fencing installed, but we purchased the fencing last year. So we still need to install the fencing. We still have to clean some areas there. We have to move a swing set. And then I got some prices for climbers. So there's a few options there for climbers. So basically that's a pick and choose.
We budgeted for the high end.
And I priced out the chip and everything, and both structures basically is the same cost to install and everything else. So it's just a matter of which one you pick with the couple $1,000s difference.
The second one is quite nice. It's got that added little play. pieces.
Where's the fall protection that goes with it?
Yeah, that's all the chip.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's good.
You'll have to order them soon, eh?
I just got an email today asking if we were still on board for them, just following up on the quote. But that's the thing, we may order that and it may be like the stuff last year. We didn't see it
Exactly.
till mid-December.
Yeah.
Now, there's no plastic in that. Last year, I know the big hangup was the slides and the roofs for the play structure, because that's all steel. Maybe we'll see that sooner. I don't know. But
Very nice.
Okay, option 2 is the one? Let's go with option 2.
Which one is option 2 that you're looking at?
22.7.
22?
option 2. Other than that, that's pretty much it for that. We already have our students picked out. They're starting on May 6th, I believe.
Less students?
2
2.
students.
Somewhere I thought the price went down. Not that much, $300.
The other thing, I guess, for our 6-month seasonal guy, it'd be, we usually start him at the same date, but we haven't had a budget meeting, so I haven't been able to contact him and tell him anything. Is that? Can I let him know he's starting?
Oh, yeah, I think you use.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Using when you need it, and
Yep.
if somebody's sick, you use it, it makes it good, I think.
He was a saving grace this winter for us, for sure. When we had 2 people off on isolation, he came in.
I figured you need a week early, a week later, when you just use them.
Perfect. Thank you.
It's not like you're just using the system, you're using it.
No, it's nice to have a card in your back pocket.
Oh, it is so- that's so-
Well, and this year with someone being basically dedicated into the loader with the brusher, we're down a guy basically all
Yeah.
summer, not including anyone's holidays. So
That's right.
this year it'll be utilized more than anything, I'm sure, but
No,
Okay,
go
thank
ahead
you.
with that, Scott.
Perfect.
Any questions?
So,
sorry, the other thing I would like to bring to your attention, and just based on exactly what Kevin was talking about with his fire truck, we may have to start looking to replace our one dump truck. I didn't get numbers this spring for it, but our one truck is at its replacement time now. We know we're gonna be 2 years out. The last time we ordered a truck, they happened to have that truck sitting there with our spec. And we ordered that right in the spring. We didn't see that till mid-December of that year. Now that was best case scenario. The truck was already sitting in a lot of North Bay. If we had to order a truck now, there's no way we'd even see that until next midsummer, next fall. So I don't know if that's something we could look at possibly this year. And even if we order it later in the year, that truck was around 250. I imagine this year you're gonna be 3 or a little more. I'd be looking for the same spec. That truck works really well for us than the one we bought. But it needs to be something that we know is gonna be more than a year to get.
I think you should start looking.
Brenda? you-
So would you have to put money in the budget to put a down payment? So it would be just to order it and check out the specifications and stuff?
Yeah, you don't order it until you.
So I'm in agreement with Jet, just look at it and get it done.
So we'll bring that back when he has costs and do a resolution to bring, if it's a down
Yep.
payment is required, out of the reserve fund for equipment.
Bruce?
So even if you ordered, we probably wouldn't have to start paying till next year, right? So
It depends. They're
I
all
would tell you to
different.
Go ahead and look hard.
Okay, thank you.
Because there is that wait time period.
Unfortunately, you're waiting 2 years now to get something, right? So.
Everything.
Any other questions on that? Okay, Scott? Anything
Okay.
else?
Thank you.
That's it, that's all.
Good. Thank you
Yeah.
very much, Scott. Greatly
Thank you.
appreciated.
Did you get a red truck or a blue truck?
A blue one if it shows up, I guess. Thank you.
As long as it's appropriate stuff.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay,
So if we go to the bottom of page 7, that's our streetlights. We've budgeted for some repairs that are needed to be done this year. And if we go to page 8, these are our contracts for our garbage pickup, our recycling pickup, our tipping fees, and our Norlob contract. And so I will take the line item out for the 36,945 for the garage and bring the final budget back with that number out of it. We have landfill closure costs for Buchanan and Bass Lake. Those are ongoing costs. And then we have what's due to the water and sewer for our facilities as users of the plant. We have our airport commission annual fee. And in culture shows what we are paying to the library. It is slightly up this year, and also what is going out to the recreation budget.
questions on page 8, Bruce?
I have two. First one is, so for our contractors, do they have a supplement in there for price of fuel going up and down?
One does, one does not.
Okay. So if the price goes up, we pay more. If it goes down?
They don't have a sliding scale like that. It's to be brought back for negotiations.
Oh, okay. And the other question was
That was my question.
340? This is for this racking system. It's up $6,000 from.
So
Mm,
that is a racking system for us for our filing
Okay,
and our floors. We have our floors done every year, stripped and repolished in here. And the racking system is for our filing. That's
I
down
didn't
in.
understand was under the blue boxes. I went, what are you talking about? Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's it for me.
Any other questions on page 8? Okay, moving on.
So page 9 is Health and Social Services. This is typically where the grants that council gives to the various organizations that have requested them. New this year is brought forward from committee is a one-time payment to the festival hall. I factored in $1,000 there. That is what we gave to the airport when they were doing their fundraising. I don't know if council wants to increase that and be a gold sponsor at 2,500.
Jed, are you? printing
Sorry,
this? Yeah.
Brenda.
I'm okay with it all, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, when, yeah, well, she said $1,000, I'm okay with that. No, I'm
No.
okay with 1,000. Yep. Yeah.
I support that.
Yeah. And everything else there, I mean, we'll have a new council next year. If they choose to change this, that's up to them.
I'm okay with 1,000.
So I have put in $5,000. We are going to fence the yard off at 19 Railway.
Sorry, Brenda.
We
What item are you on?
capital grant at 380, line 383.
Okay.
I factored in $5,000 to finish the fencing off at 19 Railway on both sides. It may come in lower than that, but we factored in $5,000 and we have our utilities for that building. And then at the bottom of the page, provisions to reserves, we are steadily continuing to provide to our reserves. And so at the end of the day, our revenues and expenditures, if this is where we're going to go, we have $40,000 of unallocated funds, and this is no increase to the tax rate. So
Excellent.
we will have 76 when we take the 36 out. And is council okay for me to add that to the unallocated funds
Yes.
and keep it in the budget for those unexpected items that come up throughout the year?
Yep, absolutely. Everybody okay with that? Wow,
And our water and sewer also sees no increase.
no increase for water and sewer.
No increase for water and
Excellent.
sewer. I think next year that may be a different story, but we'll bring that back in the fall.
Very good, very good. Everybody happy? Can see him saw.
So should we call a special meeting of council in 2 weeks to review the revisions and so that we can forward that to our May, get it on our website once it's approved and forward it to our May council for final approval and tax rates?
So very good work, Sherry, Tammy. Anybody else? Also mentioned the Public Works and Fire Department, great job that they've done. They're very efficient and well organized and made this almost seamless. And council, of course. I was waiting for the CEO to say thank you to us, but
Well, it's always nice to see that some of the comments we make through the years are always kind of captured in some of these budgets. So I appreciate that, for sure.
okay. So. No, I'll let Sherry take that. You want to set a date?
Doesn't matter to me.
No.
If we can, I prefer, because I have a lot of if possible. And if not,
I'm okay with that.
I'll go with the flow.
So could we say May 4th? It's a Wednesday? 24th at 10 a.m. for budget review.
All right. So moved by Andrew, seconded by Bruce Boucher. Be it hereby resolved that bylaw number 1022 being a bylaw to confirm the proceeding of the council of the town of Laurentian Hills special meeting of council held on April 20th, 2022 do now be read first, second, third time and passed. All in favor? And carried. And moved by Andrew, seconded by Bruce Boucher, be it hereby resolved, this special meeting of council of the town of Laurentian Hills do now adjourn at 2:05 PM. All in favor? And carried. And we're done.